What's going on here? Oh, man.
So this customer's apparently seen a video and has tried to change the bridge rectifier themselves, and now it doesn't turn on. Oh, God. I can smell a very, like, burny, hot electrical smell. That's not good. Yeah, there's some damn interesting solder joints there. Yeah, my God. Oh, man. They've put the bridge rectifier in with no thermal paste on it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's not good. So you've got to use thermal paste because otherwise there's no heat being spread onto there. That will just literally cook the crap out of that thing. Yeah, the fuse is all right. All right, I'm going to take this off and replace that because I don't think that's working. This is basically why I use a substantial soldering iron to do this with. Like, it's huge. Because you just can't get enough heat into it otherwise. I think that's what's wrong with this, look. So this is what I use for doing these with. It's not just a normal soldering iron. Well, I thought at first it might just need resoldering, but apparently not. Basically, they've ripped this pad off, and this pad goes over here to this diode on the back, and there's no continuity between there and there, so I've got to take this bloody thing off to see what the hell's going on underneath. Right, so I've got the bridge rectifier off. This basically explains why it doesn't work. They've basically ripped it off and it's pulled the wire out with it. The wire usually connects to this pin here, which goes through the board and then connects into the trace. And basically that there goes all the way to this. And I was measuring on the other side of the board and there was no continuity between that and this. So yeah, that needs sorting. I can just kind of tin this side, just put loads of solder on it, and then it'll just use the leg as a wire instead. But yeah, don't do this yourself. This is what happens when you do. So I've got to sort that one out there as well, look, because that's similar. Yes, I noticed as well that the pads on this side were dry as hell. So I've scratched all the down to the copper to get all the corrosion and stuff on. And we can put some paste on there, then it'll bond to the legs then. But yeah, there's stuff on both sides of the board. So if you don't connect the both stuff on both sides of the board, it's not going to work. See how that's got a pad that side, look, and a pad that side. If you rip the wire out, which connects the two together, then unless you're putting solder on both sides before you do it, then it's not going to connect the stuff underneath it on this side. Well, that was a complete pig of a job. I had to put epoxy on one of the pins just to hold the thing in place because there's nothing there to solder to. Because it's actually just an anchor pin on this, that black. Put a new bridge rectifier on there because that's just been manhandled and doesn't fit properly, and it's just a nightmare. It wasn't contacting the pins properly, so I've had to kind of move it to one side to get it to actually contact the pads on this side, because as I say, that trace goes around to there. That wasn't even connected, and then there was another one there that wasn't connected to that either, so got there in the end. Right, important step, thermal compound applied. The problem is if you don't put that on, you can just change that and it'll just probably melt itself within, I don't know, a week or something. So it needs this to dissipate the heat. Without that, it can't dissipate the heat, so it'll just melt the bridge rectifier. I think before we get too carried away putting it back together, before I put any of the screws in, I shall test it first, just to make sure it's working. Right, what we're thinking, we're going to get loads of magic smoke or it's going to work. Let's plug her in. Hey, it's on. Nice. Listen to the relays clicking. Yep. Question is, will it boost? All the clicks are there. Yep, seems to be working. Get it put back together and then we can test it again just to make sure it's still working. Right, she's back on. Give it a test. Yep. It's fun work. Yep. There you go. Job done. So if you've got one of these, needs fixing, don't try and fix it yourself. Just send it in, we'll sort it out, no problem. And even if you do break it fixing it, we can still fix it anyway, so job done.